Hey everybody, welcome into T1A and the new extension, Glasses Mike. I have no idea where I'm going to go with this. I'm going to do opinionated things on here. It'll be fantasy relevant, just be off-season moves that teams are doing, just things that I'm seeing that I want to talk about. It'll be quick. We're doing like 10-minute video here, maybe 12, 15, somewhere in that range. We're going to keep it kind of short. This light is driving me nuts. I need to get a new light and maybe stop doing these during the evening. I don't know. We'll figure it all out. Anyway, hit that intro. All right. So like I said, we're going to be talking about off-season situations, acquisitions, things like that, especially because we're in that time right now. Free agency has hit. We are in the legal tampering time, 15th, which this recording is happening on the 14th. So by the time you guys are seeing this, it'll probably be like the 15th or the 16th. I don't know. But what I want to talk about are a couple situations with quarterbacks right now and the way that their teams are handling or have already handled the situation. I think the biggest one that we should start off with is Lamar Jackson's situation. I honestly, in my opinion, I love the way the Baltimore Ravens are handling this. They basically said, yeah, sure, Lamar, we'll probably pay you what you want right now. All that guaranteed money, that crazy amount, all that. But we don't think anybody else will. So we're just going to go ahead and say, hey, look, if somebody else wants to pony up more than the outrageous number you're already asking, then okay. And we're probably going to try to match it. Or if we feel like, fuck it, no, we're not going to do that. Then you get 2 first-round picks back. Okay, we're sitting pretty. But basically what they did was they just called Lamar's hand on it, right? Okay, go out and see if other teams will pay you what you want. And when they come back with an offer, we'll see if we want to match it. That's the other side note of this, is that by putting the non-exclusive tag on Lamar, Baltimore basically locks a team up that puts an offer out to them. So the second they put it out, Baltimore has 5 days to match that. And if I'm Baltimore, as soon as I see that offer sheet, I'm calling that team and saying, hey, I will call you back 4 days, 23 hours, and 59 minutes from right now, and I'll tell you my decision, because that's going to freeze that team up in free agency because they don't know if that money has to go to Lamar, and they can't really build their team around the idea of having Lamar on the roster if they're not sure if they're going to get him or not. So it's a hell of a situation. I think Baltimore's playing it really smart in the end. I mean, I don't really have a prediction on it, but if I had to say anything, I'd say that they're probably going to get him for a little bit cheaper than what he wanted. He's going to be a little pissy about it, but I think it'll all kind of work out. And part of the reason I think that Baltimore isn't wanting to really just pony up that money and just be like, fine, we'll pay you. I mean, Lamar's missed 12 games over the last 2 years, 6 games each year. It's just a situation where a running quarterback, where I know a lot of people are saying he's an MVP, he's in his prime. I might catch some heat for this, but I'm still going to say it. An MVP in his prime. But even Tank in other videos has said that Lamar might be aging like a running back. So a running back at the age of 26 isn't as appealing as a running back in his 23, 24 year age group, even a rookie coming in. And so maybe that's what Lamar is kind of doing. And that's in this past 2 years, missing the games, the injuries that are coming now with this style of play, all that coming into play. And I think Baltimore is smart in what they're doing right now. Now to another team that I think actually did really well, and it was smart to do the moves that they did. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this also, and that Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. Daniel Jones, I'm not saying is the 9th best quarterback in the NFL, but he's getting paid as the 9th best quarterback in the NFL. But the Giants were smart in doing this, right? You lock up Daniel Jones, and I've got the details on this. I should be looking at it. You lock up Daniel Jones for another 4 years, which is great because you get him to his age 29 season. But the beauty of this contract is how back-ended it is after the first 2 years. It's easy for them to get out. So if Dable can't continue to work his magic with Daniel Jones and bring out the best in him and continue to put weapons around them, which Waller just signed there, or they got traded there. So that's another weapon. But by putting this so front-ended and making sure all the guaranteed money is mostly out of the way and putting $35 million of it in incentives, it's a smart contract for the Giants. Not only is it a smart contract to get the quarterback at maybe a little bit higher than what you'd want to pay for him, but market value. It allowed the Giants to lock up the only other player on their offense that's really worth any note in Saquon Barkley. And it's another great move because they're putting a older running back on a 1-year deal, another contract year, a prove-it year. And if Saquon comes out and balls out, then they can decide that then, right? You can make it up then. But either way, you're maybe going to pay him another $12 million next year and then get like a 3-year deal. Like, it's just a smart lead in for the Giants They get another good playoff run. Like I mentioned, they added Waller, so that's another good piece. And now they see if they can't find some wide receivers. I think the Waller addition is going to be huge in the long run. And he's going to be a safety blanket for Daniel Jones, who he could really use a safety blanket. Let's just be honest there. Next guy I want to talk about, honestly, and look, as a 49er fan, it pains me to actually say good things about the Seahawks franchise. It really does. Physically gives me pain. So when I say the things I do about the Seahawks that are good, understand, I know I'm going to hurt by doing it. Okay. But I got to say it on this one. Geno Smith, I think this was a great contract. They did a really good job, just like with Daniel Jones. They put a lot of this guaranteed money in the front end of this contract. It allows the team to be versatile after the first year, even. He's not going to count for a huge dead cap hit. We've seen teams take even bigger hits with other players, and it was just time to move on. And it's not like Seattle doesn't do that. Not only that, but locking in Geno also takes the picks they got in the Russell Wilson trade with Denver, and it creates more flexibility with that pick. And we all know, or at least I know, the Seahawks do a few things really well, and one of them definitely is draft. And so it'll be interesting to see how they build this team again from what was a playoff team last year to getting to the next level and doing it behind Geno. And I think getting this contract on Geno, locking in a good quarterback, a solid quarterback to lead this team for the next couple of years with what it's already got built around it, to be able to then invest that money that you didn't have to overinvest into a quarterback into other parts of the team and actually build an entire team to make a run instead of having a bunch of roster holes. The other thing I really loved about the Geno contract is that all of his incentives kick in, which I have it written down. Geno's roster incentives kick in, which is an extra $30 million if he achieves the same stats he had in 22. So that means he has to have 4,282 passing yards and 30 touchdowns. I don't know the extent of the contract, so I don't know if it covers being under on picks, which was 11, and that's a lofty number. That's a small number of picks to be thrown. 366 rushing yards with 1 touchdown. Now, I don't know if all that entails, but even if it's just the passing yards and the touchdowns, that's a big number. And I'm not saying Geno can't do it. He's got plenty of talent around him. The Seahawks are just doing nothing but improve right now. The 2 young left tackles they got last year in the draft they came into form at the end of the year. They're going to be a good team. So getting Geno locked in to these incentives they're a good play by the team. Saves them a little bit more money, hopefully in the long run. I thought it was just a really good contract on their part. And the last guy I want to bring up, who I didn't actually have any info written down on him, because when I started to plan this video out, nobody had signed anything. But I wanted to bring up Jimmy Garoppolo landing with the Las Vegas Raiders and Josh McDaniels. I don't know how it's going to go. And I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is any better than Derek Carr. But what I do know is that Jimmy Garoppolo spent 3 years with Josh McDaniels, and they know each other. Clearly, they're comfortable enough to give Jimmy a good, sizable contract. If I'm not mistaken, $67.5 million with 34 guaranteed, 72.75 with 34 guaranteed. So it's a sizable, decent contract, 3 years. So, he's a bridge quarterback again. So he knows he's not going to be the long-term guy, but he's got 3 years with a solid core around him and in the Josh McDaniels offense that he's already familiar with. This gives the Raiders even more flexibility again in the draft to start to build up that defense, which was pretty porous last year. So again, I think another good contract, another good way to save a little bit of money. I know they probably should have gotten more out of Derek Carr. They botched the hell out of that. But they can't go back and fix that now. And I think they did well in how they got through this. Man, I can't believe you couldn't get Derek Carr to the Saints for like a 3rd round pick. Just blows my mind. Like total botch of that shit there. But they're on the right path now, I think. Good quarterback. Jimmy G, Devontae Adams are going to be a good pairing. Probably, just off the top of my head, probably the best wide receiver that Jimmy's played with. And that's, as a Niner fan, him playing with Debo, like I still would. Come on. There's no comparison there. So, and he's going to have Renfro. Waller traded away to the Giants. So he's not going to have him. But Josh Jacobs, good young running back. And the team has just all the ability now to kind of build around Jimmy Garoppolo and have a manageable offense. I think this is going to become a defensive-based team. Once they get through free agency and the draft, they're going to really try to hammer down on that defense. And then just come in with an efficient offense, which we all know Jimmy just runs a great, efficient offense. He's a winner, proven winner. So I think it's a great signing for the Vegas Raiders. And that's about all I got. I have no idea what the hell I'm going to do on the next show. If there's something you want to hear about or something you've been, talking to guys about in the office and you guys are just debating back and forth about it and you want to hear my opinion on it, whatever that's worth, Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you want to hear, and maybe that'll be the next Glasses Mike. Until then, make sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe. Have a good one. Peace out, boys. Later.